My name is Randy Lysing, and I am a educator here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And I will be presenting to you, and I have also a person moderating the session this morning. His name is Dave Childers from Level 33 Consulting, and a Google certified innovator for many, many years. So it's a pleasure to have him on board to help facilitate the questions that will be coming in. And I will be presenting on your new best friend for administrators, which is Google, the GSuite. Sorry, it's formerly known as Google Apps for Education, but the GSuite. So I'm going to start off by removing my face here and going straight to the presentation this morning, which is just going to start sharing my screen. And just going to make sure on the live view, I've got two computers all set up here just to make sure that I am viewing this live. Okay, so this morning, what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through a few of the tools that I use. But first of all, just a little bit about myself. I'm a K-12 administrator, so I've been an administrator for several years at a number of schools around Edmonton Public Schools in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, formerly as a consultant, and then before that I was a French immersion teacher. I'm a certified trainer, Google for Education, and definitely stoked at the opportunity to talk with all of you this morning. And you see two boys in my picture. They're actually taller than me now. But that was at the EdTech Team California Summit a couple of years ago in Palo Alto, which was a privilege to present at. Where I'm from, and you can see the little polka location right here, is from a place up north here in Great White North, Canada, and but in our city, we're approximately about 1 million people here. We have 200 plus schools, 5,000 plus teachers, a number of students, and we were one of the first school districts in Alberta to adopt GSuite. And it is really revolutionized what we've done here in the province, certainly. So about this session, I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of the effective ways to engage teachers, parents, and students. And talk about some of the innovative ways that I as an administrator can organize data and display information and make things just a little bit easier for a number of people to understand and see. And then a question at the end: how do school leaders stay current? And it was certainly a question that came up with a panel this morning that Jenny had. And certainly in asking those students, they were, hey, we want current administrators. So I guess the first thing is when we're looking at this, I'll just wait for the screen to change on this. You know, as administrators and as teachers, as educators, you're constantly under the microscope, right? And you are under the microscope of your staff, you're under the microscope certainly of your students, but also the larger community, your parents. And you want to be able to innovate. You want to try some different things. And oftentimes it will be a disruption to routines. I'm at a first year as a assistant principal at a new school this year. And certainly there's always been a way of doing things. And as another administrator coming in with myself and my principal are new this year, it is a unique opportunity to disrupt some routines because we have a certain way of doing things. One of the ways is by trying to disrupt your own routine. There's me with my lovely wife sitting at about to do a Google demo slam, which was an epic fail. But that was my first demo slam of hope to be many more and trying out new things. So we briefly here, I just want to go into a few of the slides, and my wife and I have done a number of sessions on reverse mentoring, and we and she's an educator as well. And we've looked at a number of different things. This is one of these, education is one of these unique industries where there are just a ton of different generations. Certainly your younger generations as your students in schools, but you're also your older ones as well. And that is always almost a disruption of that innovation is a disruption of routine for many of our older teachers, because suddenly we've got these kids that know more than us. So one of the things that I've looked at several of the schools I've been at, and when I was consulting as well, is how do we get our kids involved with leading some of the technology. So something I just want to touch upon briefly before I show some of the tools that I have here. So one of the big things is looking at mentorship, right? And when you're looking at mentorship, a lot of times the person receiving the mentorship, especially now, the mentee is not the older person; it's the younger person, and it's the older person that's receiving the help, and the mentor is the younger person. And being able to have a trust factor with them, that they know quite a bit about technology, but you know quite a bit about real life and common sense. So you kind of have to marry the two and learn with it. So there is relationships with that as well. Just like my son, when he encouraged me to go off the cliff, I went with him. And we don't do this alone, right? We all have influences in our lives, and I was definitely influenced when I had a fellow by the name of Kern Kelly, and I'll fix that slide later, come up to Edmonton and share his expertise a couple times. The second time we brought kids as well, which was cool, the Tech Sherpas, where they've done a number of these unique things with their kids, where they actually have a hangout every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, all about different ways that adults can use technology in a classroom, and they're the ones that actually lead it. So, and Kern is just very instrumental in doing that. I know another fellow by the name of Jason Markey, a high school principal in it's Leiden Pride. It's Leiden, Illinois, in Chicago, just outside Chicago, who is very instrumental and actually gets kids to own a Twitter account for a week for the school and be able to go around and give things from a student perspective. You know what, just a number of slides I'll kind of glean over here. Engage your students with gamification. A couple of years ago, I actually had my younger son, design a game, and within a couple hours on his iPad, it was pretty unique. So getting kids engaged is a huge thing that is definitely something that they're building skills with, but so are you, because you're on the other side watching this. I had a student a couple of years ago at my former school that wanted to show students apps. Now, who's the teacher in this picture? Well, the teacher in the picture is actually this student right here. A student that's holding the iPad, he's actually teaching all of us and doing some beta testing with apps. And we actually had something called App of the Week in class, and an App of the Week in school, where we actually saw this student he was empowered to be able to pick some apps and check with kids on whether these apps were appropriate for a specific age of learning. So very cool. So big thing here is being open to other ways of doing things, and they're having the patience, serving both as a mentor and a mentee as well, right? So, and this is an invitational thing. It's certainly something that doesn't have to happen, but boy, when it does, the magic can definitely be there. So just a few coaching and mentoring resources that you can refer to afterwards. So here's my question to you is, I have about 10 minutes left here. So I'm going to briefly touch upon and the reason why I have 10 minutes left is because certainly Dave and I want to see some of your questions, and we want to be able to answer those as much as possible. So what's in your toolbox? Well, in my toolbox, I'm going to divide this up into kind of visual tools, data management tools, and we're also going to look at some organization tools as well. So a visual tool, when I'm looking at visual tools as an administrator, and as something that's simple to use, I want to look at something that represents data in a variety of different ways. So one thing that I've used quite a bit of is, infographics and mind maps, and showing our pattern of thinking and displaying some of our data when we're meeting with parents in a parent conference style setting, or at a parent advisory council. I want to look at collaborating in real time with other people. I don't want to do this alone. Maybe I want to have a couple kids involved with it as well. I want this tied into what we currently use in our schools, which is Google. So certainly there's a number of options out there, and and a number of options are available that can link up with the Google APIs that can really provide some really unique ways of using it. But my go-to is one called Lucidchart. So I'll just with Lucidchart here, it is something that is very, very handy, and I'm just going to show you a couple examples here, and then we're going to move on to another, I believe, our organizational tools. So I was at a high school for a few years, and we were organizing. I wanted to get to know what the school layout was. So one of the first things I did was I laid it out on a map, and I laid it out using this software called Lucidchart. And it allows you to do a number of things, but this is one that was very unique. So I had a base model. Well, on that, one of the first things I wanted to do is kind of plan where a number of the technology, kind of resided in the school. And one way of doing that is taking that same baseline map and being able to say, okay, I want to find out where the mounted projectors are. This is a few years ago. I want to find out where the science rooms were in purple versus the English rooms that were in brown, and where the smart boards were, where the TVs around the school were. Well, you know what? Then it was multi-purpose. I had that map. So when it came to the open house, a few months later, I was able to have a floor plan for the open house that I used again. So it was multi-purpose. We were able to scan this in. We were able to print this off on a huge banner because it's all vector-based as well. Able to display a number of our links down below that would help out as well, and that will certainly come through in your slide. And this was something that was also people were able to scan a QR code to get in and find out where they were in the building. Because oftentimes you'd have 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people in your building during an open house, and it's a little overwhelming. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly look at organizational tools, because looking at, it's now 12:14. Boy, this really cruises by here. So as an organizational tool piece, you have so many things that are coming at you as an administrator, and you just need a quick way of sorting through that information. You want it, but you also want to make sure that it's information that you can share with your staff and your parent community and your kids, and be able to do that in a very, very timely manner. And one of the ways I'll just show you is one way that we've worked with our staff, and I've done it at the schools that I've been at, where we just want to give quick access to key documents, ability to book resources. We don't want to go to a whole bunch of emails and, oh, which calendar is this? So, and we make it something fun to use. So give you some examples here. So what we did was, well, we created a Google site. And this is not uncommon. This is certainly something that many schools do. And with the new features and the new Google sites, which I won't get into this morning, it is something that is really, really neat to use. So one of the first things, this was at a former school I was at, John Craig, and at this school, just waiting for it to load up on the live link here, I just want easy to find icons that people can just click on. It's very visual. And we have a portal that we use for all of our staff that is designed by Downtown and modified, that they allowed us to put a link on for our school. So anyone that was in the Google group for our school was able to access that link as a staff. And we just made it easy. It wasn't just a link on their desktop, but also this came up as soon as people logged in the morning. And we just wanted to provide information that was free-flowing, very quickly to use, very quick to use. So we made something that was had a clean interface, right? I'll just kind of click through some of the slides here. We wanted to make sure that there was quick access to key documents. So you see at Greenfield School, where I'm currently at, I wanted to obviously take the colors of the school and have some easy access documents that were just right there right away. And embedded calendars was another very, very important thing, because many times you have several calendars that are there at your school. I see just one example where it's just the one calendar here, but sometimes they can have several calendars on there as well. And then as well, I want to be able to use something that is easy for people to schedule, right? So if they're trying to find booking calendars, I use a program called You Can Book Me, which allows you to book the calendars very quickly, see who else has the Chromebooks or whatever devices that you're using, and be able to take those to the next class. So it was, it all begins obviously just with the Google Calendar, and you control your availability through that. So just scrolling through, it's just taking a second here to load up here. But this is something that's a very, very useful tool to use. And you can have many calendars going on at one time. Okay, I'm going to go into data management tools, which is my final section, and then we're going to take a few questions after that. So I know Dave is kind of monitoring some of those questions right now. So first of all, data management tools. We all know about Google Forms and the power of that, and certainly it's something that we can easily do with our staff if we want devices for celebration of learning, and obviously who doesn't want to use technology in their class now. So we have many teachers that want to use it, but we have to have a way of organizing that. Certainly another way as an administrator of using that is bringing in your Chromebook or iPad into class and be able to do walkthroughs and observations. So I have some links here that actually Kern Kelly, my colleague from Maine, has provided, and he has some forms all set out for teachers and principals, some of the walkthroughs. And certainly one of the most powerful things is once you collect that information, you're using sheets and you're to capture that data, track the students. We track a lot of data for those students as well, and we can organize that data afterwards. So how do you manage it? Well, I'm not going to get into all the specifics this morning, but what I do have is I use a number of add-ons, and these add-ons are so powerful because you can remove duplicates, you can merge values, you can do a lot of cool things with sheets. Matter of fact, my colleague from Edmonton, who's at Graham McEwen University, is going to be talking later on about validating that data and making sure that that data comes in a correct format. You don't have to spend a lot of time managing that afterwards. So I've put a few links in here as well, just to talk about how to manage your data, right? And so with that, I've got how to sort a spreadsheet, how to filter your data, etc. So, but that's great. We got all these tools and everything like that. And I love this particular infographic that I found last night, and all my sources are kind of in my notes. If you make a copy of this, what do you want teachers to do with technology? Well, that's great. I've shown you a lot of cool things this morning. It's the right column you want to look at, guys. And the right column is about building relationships with communities. And it's not just in front of a computer, it's about going out and talking with kids, but it's about listening. It's about developing personal learning opportunities. It's about a lot of that stuff. So very, very neat. What I have as well is I have something here that's just come across in terms of a certificate request. I'm going to talk about that just very briefly. These are things, how do you stay current? Well, one of the ways of doing that is by requesting a certificate, obviously, showing that that you are learning this morning, but knowing that you're always educating yourself all the time, and success isn't just a nice fine line. It's something that is a little bit more complicated. And one of my favorite people to follow on Twitter is a fellow Canadian. Her name is Sylvia Duckworth. And she talks about how to stay connected through professional learning networks. So, and personal learning networks. And so those are some of the ideas how I stay connected. And but certainly one of the ways that you can stay connected is through earning certificates. Educator level 1, educator level 2. These are available at a discount this morning, by the way, through Google. And Google Education is offering a discount for all EDU on air participants to become Google certified in level 1 and 2. So I'm almost at the end of my presentation, but I just wanted to touch upon, okay, well, great, you got your educator level 1 and level 2 certificates, but what about other ways that you can learn? Well, you can be a certified trainer. I'm a certified trainer like myself. I've been a certified trainer for 4 years. And what a wonderful opportunity to get out and meet new people and demonstrate some of the stuff that you've learned. And the other one certainly is a certified innovator and some of the neat things. So I know Dave is a certified innovator, and I know he has some questions. So we're gonna go to some of the questions now, and let's not be afraid to fail, be afraid not to try. So that ends my presentation. So let's go to some of the questions here. There's my family ski trip a couple of years ago. All right. So let's go through some of these now. So Dave, do you have, we're just going to look at some of the questions here. Okay. So I have a question here from Philippa. As a school administrator in South America, we are needing a reporting system where more than one teacher can edit marks and comments. Which Google program would you suggest? Well, in terms of that, this is certainly one thing that I would, I would definitely want to look at. We use a program up here called Power School, and it's not really Google related, but we pull a lot of information from there that we can put into spreadsheets and vice versa. Question from Brant: is Lucidchart a free tool? Yes, it is. It is free, and actually, you can actually upgrade to an education version, which has even more features on that as well. Very powerful. Yeah, and thanks, Kim, for answering that. There you go. Looking from from the Philippines as well. Okay, greetings from Singapore. Okay, have Nigeria here. This is mind blowing. Certificative. Okay, so Saeed, we're looking at that right now. I know that we have some people from Google this morning that are monitoring this conversation as well. So we are, I know that one of the things is anybody who is registered this morning will be provided an opportunity to access some discounted certification exams that are regularly cost a certain amount. That will be kind of 50%. So of that particular cost, we got North Lake Tahoe, we got Rhode Island, we got Paraguay. So Oh my God, Andrew Stillman, holy smokes, from New York City. That's he's one of my idols. So number of different people here. So I'm not sure if there's any other questions that are coming in. I'm just gonna kind of tune into my other page here, and I'll stop presenting from there and just go on to stop. And I'll just go on to me again. Okay. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming this morning and logging in, and also to the people that will be watching this broadcast later on, if it's not convenient for you, certainly you right now. This has been certainly an honor to answer your questions and present and share. I really appreciate being involved with this, and certainly I hope to be involved in more of these coming down the line. So thank you very much for the warm hospitality this morning. All right, have a good day.